Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Today I have been working with the IKEA K70 Max. This is an open frame diode laser, has a 70 watt head on it and a very large working area. It's 850 by 800, so it's about 33 inches by about 31 inches, give or take. And so I thought, gotta do something that kind of uses the size a bit. So I am gonna make a bit of a bigger layered sign, and I thought, why not do a quick project video, kind of show you a quick and easy way to do this, how it works, while looking at the laser as well. I'll be doing a full review on this laser yet, but this just seemed like a fun little project to share with you. So we're gonna go into the design, go through how we get it prepped and assembled, and we'll take a look at it when it's all done. So if that interests you, you wanna find out more, stay tuned. I'm gonna jump right into it. We're at the computer and I'm going to show you just really quickly how I'm going to set up this file. So first off, we are going to jump over into a site called Creative Fabrica. This is one of those sites where you can pay a subscription fee and have access to a variety of SVGs and designs and whatnot. It's fairly inexpensive, about $4 or $5 a month. So I find I get enough value out of it. You know, when I need to do some test engravings, want something different, or, you know, a project like this, I can usually find something that I can use. So I did go out there and I did a search and was looking for like a black cat face SVG, and came across this bundle, which has a number of different cat kind of peeking over the wall kind of images, and thought, hey, that will work out nicely. So went ahead and downloaded that. It comes into a zip file, and then we're able to jump over into Lightburn. So I'm going to be working on this one on my desktop computer here. The laser is actually hooked with the laptop, so ignore the fact that this is on a different format laser. We're just going to do the design work. So all we need to do is go ahead. I'm dragging in the SVG file, and you can see it brings in a bunch of them. There's 25 different ones. Just going to drag around these and delete everything but the one I want to work with. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and just scale this up so it's a bit bigger. It's going to end up being fairly large when we're done with it. So this is fine as is. This is going to be our top layer. And as a matter of fact, if I switch this over to the black layer and change this into fill, this is the look we're going for with the kind of what it's going to look on the wall. But I want to add a background to it, and just to make sure all of the details kind of pop out. You might have a dark wall background and it might not look quite right. So change this back into line really quick. All I'm going to do is take a copy of this. Let's move this one over here and we'll paste the other one back in. Now I'm going to clean this up first because this just needs to be solid. I'm going to ungroup it and start removing all this interior stuff, so we won't need these. All right, that is a good start. And now I want to join them all with a border. So I'm going to select all of these. We're going to come up here to our offset shapes tool. We're going to click that, and now I want to do outer shapes only, this top button. We'll be able to delete the original, and I want to come out 1/4 of an inch. That'll give us just a nice little border around the outside without being too much larger than the original. So make sure it's outward. Corner style, I don't think this one matters on here because the corners are already round. And then, like I say, delete 1/4 inch, hit OK. Now we're left with a nice outline, but I do want to clean up this edge right down here. So I'm going to highlight this whole thing. We're going to come into our node editing, and I'm going to scroll all the way in until we get to just past into this first arc here. So this should be a straight line. This should be the start of our arc right here. And I'm going to hover over this line and I'm going to hit the D key, and that's going to delete that segment. I'm going to come over here, do the same thing, and hover over this section, hit the D key. Now that broke that apart. And if I just select this chunk, we can go ahead and delete that. Now we can come back in and we're going to close this back up. We're going to go back into our node editing and we're just going to drag one of these over to connect with that one. Once it snaps onto that, you'll know that's connected. Now the other thing I can do is go ahead and clean this up a bit. Anytime you import graphics, there might be some extra artifacts. Like this whole thing could be a solid line. So what we can do is come to edit and we can optimize selected shapes. It's going to bring up this nice little menu here. And what we want to do is reduce the number of segments while still keeping the shape. So fit shapes to line, we're going to move this slider over. And as I do that, you're going to notice, like see on the bottom one, all these little points are starting to disappear. If I take that back out there, we've got like 1, 2, 3, 4 points. If I start sliding this over, those start to disappear and it becomes just one line. Same thing on these side pieces that are straight lines. That helps clean it up and help make everything a little more efficient. We can do the same thing with arcs. So if you look at kind of where all these arcs are, there are a lot of segments to those. We can start sliding that over and reduce the number of points into more arcs. If you take it too far, it can actually change the shape of the item, but you want to take it to where it retains the shape, but reduces the number of those different arc points. And it's looking like this one is going to keep its shape pretty well throughout it. So I'm going to take this up pretty high. That looks pretty good. We've reduced it way down. So you see it's gone from 1567 points down to 48 points. So, and then we had 1567 lines and no curves down to 12 lines, 36 curves. Makes it a much cleaner object. So we'll hit OK. We'll go back into here. So now this is going to end up being white. This is going to be the cutout that goes on top. So we can go ahead and drag this over here. And just to be sure, we can use our little center, both vertical and horizontal. That means they're both in alignment. And that's what we're going to end up with. The top part is going to be black. And as a matter of fact, if I change this over to a different one, we can change this back into a fill. So that's what it's going to look like. We're going to have a little border that's going to be white. We're going to have the cat that is going to be black. These are going to be cut out of the top piece, layered onto that bottom piece. Now, the only other thing is I need to size it to my material in the space. And this one, I am going to be going with a height of about 18 inches. We want to make sure our aspect ratio is locked. We have both selected. And there we go. It's going to be roughly 30 inches wide. Actually, you know what? I'm going to bump this back down. We're going to go 17. Yeah, that'll fit the space. I've got about 30-inch wide material, so we're going to give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room. And now we can just basically get these over on the machine and cut out. All right, so we're using 3mm Baltic birch, and this is about a 30 by 18-inch sheet. So we go ahead and just make sure it frames in the space, and we'll go ahead and send the job off. So I did some testing on this, and it was cutting through anywhere from 17 to 20 millimeters a second, a single pass. But with kind of the randomness of the plywood, I went ahead and bumped the speed up to 20, but went and did 2 passes. Just wanted to make sure it cut through without having any little gaps or things to go back and clean up. So once this finishes, I'm going to go ahead and hold the piece in, make sure the outside pops up. That's looking good. We'll get that out of the way, take a quick look. The cuts look clean. The backside's not too bad either. So now we can go ahead and throw the other piece in and start the other cut. So second sheet, same settings. This is just more involved cut. It's got all those inner spots to cut out. So we'll let this work its way through. But I did find that doing the 2 passes at 20 millimeters a second and 100% power did do a good job, made everything come out fairly clean. So once again, just holding the pieces in and pulling up that layer, everything pops out nice and cleanly. Just had one little whisker that I needed to tap out. And there's a little more of kind of just charring on just a few pieces on here. So we're going to head over to the workbench. We're going to clean this up. I've got some 220 grit sandpaper, so it's not very aggressive, but it will take any of that kind of top burn off. But also it's going to help smooth out the plywood. This is going to help give us a really nice, even paint layer. So a little bit of prep helps your finish look that much better. So just go ahead and clean all that up and get both sides and just a quick kind of test fit, make sure everything looks good. Also debating whether I want to paint the whole backer or leave some spaces. Going to be using this just cheap white acrylic craft paint and using a foam roller on here. This will give a nice even coat. You could use spray paint, but I happen to have this craft paint. I didn't want to be using spray paint in the shop tonight. So just going to start working this out, seeing how much paint I need. That foam brush does soak up some extra, but just keep adding it to get nice and smooth coverage, but make sure it's all covered, really making sure I'm getting those edges as well. And we'll get that done. Now we got to move on, do the same thing with the black. This is going on a little bit thicker, easier to see, but getting that worked in around all the edges. Once this is done, we're going to let it dry for about half an hour. And when we take a look, see it's just a little bit of wood grain. There's a little bit of kind of wood color peeking through. So I'm going to go ahead and do a second coat, and just going to go ahead and roll that right on top. Trying to make sure it stays nice and smooth, even coat. That foam roller does a great job of that. Doing the same thing with the white, just getting a nice second layer down on there. Then we'll let this dry, but also going to clean up the board, just a little bit of Windex and a cloth. So now that the pieces are all dry, just doing a test fit, make sure I've got everything in the right order so that they can get glued down correctly. And I'm going to be using this contact cement. This stuff's technically for model airplanes, but what you do is you apply it to one side or both. In this case, I'm applying it to the one side, getting it in as many areas as I can, but being careful to squeeze out. And then I'm going to push them together, make sure that glue gets stuck on both sides, then you pull it apart. I'm going to do this for all the pieces. You want to let that glue get tacky on both sides in the open air. And then when we go to rejoin them, they will grab pretty quickly, but have just a little bit of time to kind of wiggle it into place if it's misaligned. So here we are going to put that main piece in, being careful to eyeball it, and then giving it a nice push down, making sure it's all secured down, getting the two paws the same way, just letting that contact cement grab, and it sets up in about 15 minutes. To hang it, I'm going to use one of my laser cut picture hangers. Just glue these two pieces together, and then we get the item flipped upside down. You want to make sure you get this nice and right in the middle. Use a little CA accelerator to get that down really quick. And there you go. A good look at our finished cat wall art. Well, and here it is, the finished layered sign. That's a pretty big, cat peeking over a wall kind of thing. And so I think we have a fun spot in our living room that has kind of an entryway trim piece that this will hopefully sit on and hopefully not freak out my own cats. But wanted to test out the laser and started doing this project, figured, hey, let's put the video together and give you a little more in-depth view on how this goes together. So hopefully you enjoyed that and got something out of it. So I dropped in this glue. I don't think I've talked about this type of glue before. This specific type is meant for model airplane foam, but it's a contact cement, and contact cement can be a good way to join pieces where maybe you need a little more of a flexible joint. Gives you just a little bit of wiggle room, but it also cures pretty fast. It's a type you smear it on both sides and then kind of pull them apart, let them sit so this gets tacky. That takes maybe about 3 to 5 minutes, and then you want to set them back together. And when they rejoin, they really grab hard, but you have just a little bit of wiggle room to get it in place. So for things like this where I needed to just kind of adjust minor as I get it put in place, this worked out well, and it does hold fairly well without being a brittle joint. So I'll link down below if you want to try out similar style of contact cement in some of your projects. I like having various glues for different projects and different means, and so just another tool in your belt to help you get your projects done. I'll be finishing up the review on the IKEA K70 Max, and so if you're interested in that laser, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for that. It is a very interesting laser. It's a very large laser, great for some of these projects, but I'll be giving it a good rundown and give you my thoughts on that in a future video. So stick around the channel and you'll see that in the future. Otherwise, if you want to check it out below, I will have a link to that you can definitely check out more about that laser as well. Thanks for checking out this video. I hope you found it interesting, maybe you learned something, or at least was slightly entertaining. Give me a comment down below what you thought of that, maybe what you thought of the laser, and keep that community going through the interactions down there. Also, you can check out a live stream I do every Sunday night, 7 p.m. Central. Hop on here and go live with David over at the Clack Shack. We talk about projects, talk about machines, but mostly we answer questions directly from the audience. So it's another good way to connect. Otherwise, definitely check out my socials, my Instagram and Facebook down there. You can follow me there for some behind the scenes of projects and machine reviews, just whatever's going on. Love all the interaction there as well. Thanks again for checking out this video. Hope you enjoyed it, but I hope most importantly, you get on your workshop and make something too. We'll catch you next time.